All right, a good morning, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Kevin McKim once again. I'm here to give you guys an update on what to expect for the rest of your morning into the early afternoon hours. I have been graciously enough to get my voice back after sleeping for most of the night, so we should be good to go. But this is what we got this morning here, guys. We got a lot of thunderstorms across western Arkansas. At this current time, I want to talk to you guys about that as well. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up on my screen. This is just recent. It just popped up for western Arkansas here, so let's go ahead and talk to you guys about that. Severe thunderstorm warning is going to go for northwestern Pike, southeastern Scott, northern Polk County, POLK by the way, and Montgomery County in western Arkansas until 7 o'clock this morning. Severe thunderstorm is located on the line extending 13 miles southeast of Waldron or near Opal to near Cossalot River State Park, moving east at 55 miles per hour. Hazard 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Radar indicated storm with this. This is going to include Mount Ida, Glenwood, Norman, over towards Daisy, over towards also Shady, Bard Springs recreational area, Black Spring, Big Fork, Albert Pike recreational area, and also the Board Camp area here. Okay, so this is going to go for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is the first severe thunderstorm warning on the board down here in southwestern Arkansas. Good morning to everybody that's tuning in. We got a flooding risk across western Arkansas at this time here as well. I'm going to talk to you guys about the severe threat, the timing, what you need to know, and stuff like that. So if you need to tune in or know someone that needs this information, have them tune in at this current point here, okay? But this is current radar at this current time here. Let's go ahead and show you guys this. I zoom this down, and you guys can see just a wall of rain coming into western Arkansas at this point. First severe thunderstorm warning on the board, but you see the bigger problem on the board here is the flash flooding. And I think today in particular, except for our folks down there in southern Arkansas, I think the flooding risk is going to overpower the severe weather threat for today. But that does not mean it's going to be a zero risk or anything like that in terms of the severe threat. But I think the flooding risk is something that we cannot ignore for much of the morning hours and into the early afternoon hours of today here. So if you're planning on traveling this morning across western Arkansas along Interstate 30, keep in mind that you will run into potential flooding risk. Turn around and do not drown. And the one thing I'm going to tell you guys the same thing my mom and my dad's always told me. Wherever you got to go, it's going to be there when you get there. Okay, so don't go 90 miles per hour on the roadways. Take it easy on the roadways this morning across western Arkansas. A lot of heavy rainfall across this area here. And then a severe thunderstorm warning for much of southwestern Arkansas down there, mainly for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts across the board. Now, let's go ahead and talk to you guys about what to expect for today here. Okay, so we're going to switch this over to timing real quick. And this is the timing here. Before I get into that, let's go back to it real quick. This is the timing risk for today here. Now, there's been a little bit of a shift to it, not much. But for western Arkansas, from now all the way until 9 o'clock this morning here, okay, that's going to go for the potential damaging winds, hail. I cannot rule out that brief tornado or two, and then the flooding risk. Like I said before, do not ignore that flooding risk for today, folks. Take it easy on the roadways across the board. I know everybody, when they hear severe weather, it sends their anxiety through the roof. I promise you guys, we're going to have updates all morning long. Every 30 minutes, there's going to be a radar update. So be sure to stay with us on the page. If you don't get the notification, feel free to manually check on the page this morning here, okay? But from now to 9 o'clock in the morning in western Arkansas, and then from central Arkansas, from Melbourne, all the way down to Texarkana, we're talking probably within the next hour or so till around lunchtime. Damaging winds, hail, the flooding risk, and the isolated tornado threat. Don't heavily focus on the tornado threat. I know the tornado threat's there and it's very low, but I want you guys to be aware of the flooding potential and the damaging wind potential for today as well here, okay? So keep that in mind. So before, that's what we're talking about right now. We've got radar up. We were talking about that just for a minute ago. That's what we have across the board, across western Arkansas. A lot of heavy rainfall, flooding risk, and the damaging wind threat down there in southwestern Arkansas this morning here, okay? So southeastern Arkansas. Now, down here in southeast Arkansas, from Helena to Dumas, Monticello to El Dorado, personally, and nothing against Storm Prediction or anything like that, personally, I think this is where your severe threat is going to be maximized today. I think your threat of severe weather is going to be maximized down there in southern Arkansas for today, because you're going to have more time for your atmosphere to become destabilized, okay? So that's from El Dorado to Crossett to Lake Village, up towards Stuttgart and DeWitt here, okay? I think this is going to be the primary area. If you're going to see severe weather for today, that's going to be the area you're going to want to watch later this morning in the early part of the afternoon, okay? So don't ignore severe warnings. If any tornado warnings get issued, we'll be on top of it. Also, the flooding risk as well. If we start seeing considerable flooding issues, we will be live as well here, okay? So not only just a tornado or damaging wind, but if we start seeing considerable flooding issues today, we will be live as well here, okay? So now to 9 a.m., across western Arkansas, 7 to 11 here in central Arkansas. There's some going on right now. And then southeastern Arkansas from 10 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock this afternoon. For our folks in northeastern Arkansas, significant uncertainty per guidance. I will say from 8 a.m. till noon, you'll have a shot of seeing some rainfall up there. I know you guys have been getting skipped a lot over the last couple of events here, but I think there may be some thunderstorms getting up across northeastern Arkansas. If they do, they could pose a low-end severe threat up there, but right now it's just too much uncertainty right now to go off of a certain timing across the board here, okay? So this is the tornado threat as well here. I'm going to go over this just a bit. The enhanced risk for now is from Little Rock southward. I do think with the next update, this enhanced risk is going to come down into southern Arkansas. I think that enhanced risk is going to go from probably Texarkana to Camden up towards Dumas down into southern Arkansas. It is a wait and see right now, but I think your bigger severe threat is going to be down there in southern Arkansas at this point. That does not mean we're not going to see anything up here in central or western or even northwestern Arkansas, okay? That just means your better shot of seeing severe weather is going to be down here in southern Arkansas as we get towards later this morning and the early part of your afternoon here, okay? Damaging wind risk, as you can tell, that's where the enhanced risk, and then the tornado threat here, okay? Now, I want to stress, this is going to go for a brief spin-ups, okay? These are not going to be the monster tornadoes or anything like that. It's not going to be an outbreak by any stretch of the matter, but there could be an isolated tornado or two, particularly down there in southern Arkansas. I think the bigger shot of severe weather is going to be for our folks down there in southern Arkansas for today. We will watch central. We will watch southwestern Arkansas and western Arkansas. If anything pops off, we will be on top of it. But I personally feel your severe threat is much greater for our folks down there in southern Arkansas. So what does that mean? If you're in South Arkansas, pay attention today. Have your phones ready for alerts and be ready to go if any warnings get issued down there in southern Arkansas this afternoon and this morning into this afternoon here, okay? So this is the timing. As I said before, if you're just now tuning in, for western Arkansas from now all the way to 9 o'clock. Central Arkansas, we do have some storms ongoing right now. Just heard a rumble of thunder outside the weather center from 7 to 11 today. Southeastern Arkansas from 10 a.m. all the way to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I think 1 o'clock is a good bet for storms to be out of here. And in northeastern Arkansas, it's going to be 8 to 11 up there here. So good morning to everybody. I'm now going to tune into some questions. I'm going to go ahead and go back over to our radar for just a bit. I do appreciate y'all tuning in. I know it's like 6 o'clock in the morning here, but I do appreciate y'all tuning in this morning. Do you think storms will make it down to Longview today, Stacy? Yes. And I do think you will have a shot of seeing some good amount of severe weather down there for today. You're going to have the advantage of having the late morning and the early afternoon heating. So I do think you will have a severe weather down there. Damaging winds, hail, Camp Run, isolated tornado 2 down there in Longview, Texas down there for today here. Very bad lightning in western Arkansas this morning. Flooding risk continues across those areas here. Go ahead and take a look at a few more comments. If y'all have any questions, let me know at this time here. How bad is the weather? I'm about to leave Tulsa and go into Pine Bluff in the Rising area. Donna, be very careful on the roadways this morning. Flooding will be your bigger risk. Then it's going to be damaging winds, hail, and there may be an isolated tornado too, but flooding will definitely pose the biggest hazard on the roadways this morning. So keep that in mind across the area here, okay? So, starting to rain in Conway, can hear the thunder. The wind is no joke over there in western Arkansas. That's what we got going at this point. This is going to be a wind maker for central and southern Arkansas once we get into later in the morning and into the early part of your afternoon here. Once we get a little bit more of instability across the board, that's where you're going to start having the wind potential down there. So McGee in southeastern Arkansas, Pay attention today. Have your phones on for alerts. This is where you're going to have that potential of seeing some severe weather down there. You guys are going to have that late morning, early afternoon timing down there. So you will have your chance of getting a little bit unstable down there in southern Arkansas. Same thing goes for Camden as well. Damaging winds, hail, the isolated tornado threat will be there as well. Okay, so for the Vallonia area in central Arkansas, I think from central into western Arkansas, this includes Grant County as well, I do think that your severe threat for right now appears a little bit lower than what we were originally anticipating. I don't know anybody that would get mad about that. I think us missing severe weather is a great thing, but we will have a flooding risk to contend with up here in central Arkansas. So keep that in mind as we get towards this morning and early afternoon here. But folks, if you got to travel on Interstate 30 or Interstate 40, keep in mind you will run into a flooding risk today here. Okay, so turn around and do not drown. I want everybody to make it wherever they got to go safe here. I don't want to hear anything about wrecks or anything like that. I want everybody to be safe today, okay? So wherever you got to go, it's going to be there when you get there. So take it easy on the roadways. Please be careful today here, okay? Do not ignore those flooding risks, okay? So I do think southern Arkansas, I saw your comment, I think southern Arkansas has the higher threat today. Given the timing of it being 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I think your severe threat's greater in southern Arkansas. As a matter of fact, I can go ahead and draw it out to you guys here at this point here, okay? So I think your severe threat is going to be greater down in this area here, down here in southern Arkansas. That does not mean you're not going to see anything north of this area, but I think this is going to be your best shot from southern Arkansas, North Louisiana, Northeast Texas, over here along the Mississippi River. I think that's going to be your best shot of seeing severe weather for the day. Damaging winds, the isolated tornado threat, and also the hail threat for the day as well. But the flooding risk will be widespread across the state, especially for western and central Arkansas here. The flooding threat will be there for the day. As you guys can see, flash flood warnings from eastern Oklahoma all the way down into western Arkansas at this point. Keep in mind, I fully anticipate more flash flood warnings to get issued from much of western Arkansas. This is a very prone area for seeing flooding today. And I know it's not the most popular thing on the planet, but flooding actually leads more in deaths versus tornado and damaging winds. So that's why you can't ignore that flooding threat across the board here. So same thing for the Vallonia area. Getting all the questions about that. I think the Vallonia area right now, it is going to be more south of your area versus being there. I think you will contend with a flooding threat today. You may see a couple of damaging wind gusts depending on where this line ultimately goes. But right now, I think it's going to be down here in southern Arkansas. I have no idea why the sirens are going off in Whitehall. There's not a tornado warning or anything at this point. There's nothing going on in Whitehall. I have no idea why the sirens are going off down there in Whitehall right now. There's not even a storm near Pine Bluff right now. They may be testing it out this morning here. So severe threat for Russellville this morning, very, very low. I think your severe threat for much of central, northern, and northwestern Arkansas has basically came to an end. It's mainly going to be down here in southern Arkansas for much of the day here, okay? And this is great news. I don't think anybody wants to deal with a severe threat here, but we will contend with flooding for much of the board here as we get towards later this morning and the early part of your early afternoon here, okay? So same thing for the Hot Springs area. Hot Springs area, I think you will contend with some severe weather this morning. You do have a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go ahead and zoom down and show you guys this graphically and what we're looking at right now here. I do think that severe warning is down here. Give me 1 second. Let's switch this over to this real fast here. Okay, so I think the severe warning is just outside of the Hot Springs area right now. Yes, it is. So it is just to the west of Hot Springs right now. Damaging wind threat with this, particularly 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. No tornadic activity or anything along that line here. So there is a severe thunderstorm warning over there. So you will contend with this for the next hour or so. And then once this line pushes over your area, you're going to be done for the rest of the day here. And then Arkansas goes into the deep fryer. I do not want to talk about it, but we will once we get past the day here. Okay, so they're going to have it bad. I'm not saying it's going to be an outbreak down there in southern Arkansas by any stretch of the matter, but I do think you're going to have the better shot of seeing severe weather for the entire state-wise for the day here. That's going to be damaging winds, hail, an isolated tornado or two could be possible down there in southern Arkansas here, okay? But I don't think it's going to be a major outbreak by any stretch of the matter. It's not going to be a moderate risk or anything like that, just a heightened threat for severe weather versus the rain-cool central and western Arkansas at this point here, if that makes sense here. So same thing goes for your comment as well for the Stuttgart area. Damaging winds, hail, isolated tornado threat. I know everybody's kind of asking localized cities and stuff like that, a broad area for southern Arkansas. Damaging winds, hail, isolated tornado threat for today here. The flooding threat will be there for much of the state. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this graphically as well. I'm going to take radar off for just a second, for just a bit, and we're going to go ahead and go over the flooding threat for today here. So I'm going to stop radar for just a bit. Let's go over to this real fast here, okay? So this is your flooding threat for today here, okay? So basically, the area in yellow is going to go from Fayetteville all the way down to Camden. This is where your flooding threat is going to be maximized for today here, okay? And in the green area, from Bella Vista all the way down to El Dorado to Lake Village, that's a marginal risk area here. So this is the flooding threat across the board. Do not ignore the flooding threat for today here. I promise you guys. Do not ignore the flooding threat today. I feel like we're going to contend with it more than dealing with damaging winds or tornado threat, anything like that, okay? But this is your flooding threat from the day here. So from Fayetteville, that includes Interstate 30, Interstate 40 as well. So if you're planning on traveling, I know it's Friday, everybody's getting paid, trying to go out, stuff like that, first thing in the morning, take it easy on the roadways, guys. Flooding will be an issue across the board for much of the morning hours here, okay? So I know everybody kind of worries about the tornado threat. I do think the tornado threat is going to take a back seat today. If any warnings get issued, you guys know it full well. We will be on top of it. But I do think the tornado threat is going to take more of a back seat today versus the damaging wind and the hail threat and the flooding threat for today here as well here, okay? So bear with me for just a bit. We'll get radar back up. And we're going to have that going so you guys can see the severe thunderstorm warning right now. We'll read you guys that at this point. Severe thunderstorm warning is going to go for northwestern Pike, southeastern Scott, eastern Polk, Polk, and also Montgomery counties over here in southwestern Arkansas. These storms are moving at a grand total of 65 miles per hour. So this is definitely going to pose a damaging wind risk down here in southwestern Arkansas. That's Mount Ida, that's Glenwood, Norman, Daisy, over towards Albert Pike. That's also Big Fork, Gibbs, also Salem in Pike County, and also Shady Lake recreational area down here in southwestern Arkansas. So this area right here, these storms are moving southeast at 65 miles per hour here. So definitely going to be packing a punch across the board. And also, one more thing I want to tell you guys here, if y'all have any photos, any videos, or anything like that, please inbox us. Please feel free to inbox us today. We will post it with credit given to you as well here, okay? But if y'all have any photos or videos, y'all been doing great with them last couple of days, last couple of events we've had, please feel free to send that to our inbox across the board here, okay? So, do you think the hail and wind threat is weakening across Faulkner County? I do believe so, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this why, all right? I do realize we have an enhanced risk for much of central Arkansas right now. I'm pretty sure that's going to drop. The biggest issue we're having right now here, and I'm going to take radar off for just a bit, all right? The biggest issue we're having right now here is we barely have any surface instability. That's the biggest thing with it being early in the morning. That's the biggest thing we've got. Now, the mid-levels, in terms of instability, you can see the greater instability, the greater destabilization is across southern and southwestern Arkansas. So this is where your severe threat's maximized right now. So I'm saying that includes Faulkner County as well. I don't think you're going to have a severe threat too much today in Faulkner County, but you will contend with the flooding threat for much of the area as we get towards later this morning and into the early afternoon hours as well here. And yeah, I do know thunder's going to be ongoing for much of the afternoon. One thing I want to tell you guys too, these thunderstorms are going to be super loud. They're going to be loud as they're coming in. I promise you, they're going to do intense lightning, very heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, even if it's not severe, and also the potential of small hail here. So they're going to be super loud coming in, especially for central and down into southwestern Arkansas for this morning here. But I think the better shot of seeing severe weather is going to be down here in southwestern Arkansas and southern Arkansas, especially as we get towards later today, later this morning and into the early part of your afternoon hours here. Okay, so we're going to go back over to radar real quick. If y'all have any more questions, let me know, and then I'm going to hop off of here for just a bit. Then we'll have radar updates constantly on the page. We'll have updates constantly on the page as well. And then, if need be, as I said before, if that flooding risk starts getting out of control, I will be on live. All right. Also, that will include for severe thunderstorm warnings, as well. We'll watch Southern Arkansas, but I think the better shot of seeing severe weather, which I'm fixing to draw out, is going to go from Mena right through here. I think that's going to be your better shot of seeing severe weather for today here, down here in Southern Arkansas. I'm not going to get storm prediction by any stretch of the matter, but with us getting a lot of rainfall first thing in the morning, it's going to be very tough to get the environment unstable and not to see severe threat here in Central Arkansas. I think the better shot is going to be down there in Southern Arkansas. Of course, if something changes, we will be here across the board here. Okay, so Hot Springs sticking around now. Loud thunder coming in. There you got a severe thunderstorm warning just to your south and west. Down there right now, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. As a matter of fact, I would say 65, 70, because that storm is moving very, very quickly off towards the south and east here. So you will contend with that for much of the morning. But much of Southern Arkansas, the area I have highlighted in blue, is where your bigger severe threat's going to be. Also, the graphics you saw on the live stream as well that will be posted after this live stream is over and done with. So, same thing for Yale County, Darnell area. I know you guys have been seeing a lot of thunderstorm activity over the last couple of days. Your anxiety is just through the roof. I promise you guys, you're not going to see much severe threat up there today, but I will tell you, beware for flash flooding. So if you have any travel plans or anything like that this morning, I'd kind of hold it off until the afternoon and then try to pursue it. If you got to get out this morning, take it easy on the roadways. Be very, very careful, especially on the interstates across the board here. Okay, so just came through Mena, loud, fast, and raining hard across the board. I know these storms are going to be super loud coming in. We got some storms coming right now, coming into the Interstate 30 area from Arkadelphia down into Malvern at this point. That's going to continue to move out towards east-southeast. Also, as you can see, the area highlighted in blue, there's also some thunderstorms starting to bubble up across from Arkadelphia to Camden at this point. Something that we're going to watch carefully. If anything occurs, we will be here across the board here. So how long will it be moving out from the Mena area? Mena, the loudest part, is moving out now, but you will contend with moderate rainfall for much of the morning and the early afternoon hours until this entire cluster gets out of Arkansas. And I'm going to tell you guys this now, while I have 300 plus on here, it is going to get hot. It is going to get stupid hot as we get towards early next week. National Service Little Rock's already talking about heat advisory criteria for the weekend and the early part of next week. So be prepared for that. It's not going to be a cool down behind this. We're going straight into the deep fry once we get into early next weekend. And anybody here that's not a hot weather fan, a cold weather fan like me, I'm not looking forward to it at any stretch of the matter here. But this is what we got going across the board. Radar's going. If you have any more questions, let me know. Let me see here. Down there in Conway right now. Definitely coming in. Yeah, you got some storms coming into Conway right now. The bigger storms are going to be down there in Southern Arkansas. As a matter of fact, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued down here in southern and southwestern Arkansas. Let's go and talk about that real quick. That's going to go for Clark, Pike, Garland, Hot Springs, and Montgomery County until 7:45 this morning. That's going to go for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. These storms are moving southeast at 60 miles per hour here. No time to waste with these storms this morning here, okay? So please keep that in mind here, okay? So I'm driving to Texas, supposed to leave at 11 o'clock. Should I be okay, David? Can you give me a location of where you're traveling from? And I can answer that a little bit better for you at this point here, okay? So let me see here. The walls are definitely shaking. Yeah, definitely. There's going to be a lot of storms coming in the area. They're going to be super loud coming in Central Arkansas, by no stretch of the matter. But I think the better severe threat is going to be down here in Southern Arkansas at this point. Let me see here. Moving from Mena going into Texas. You should be good to go. Just watch out for flooding, especially over there in eastern Oklahoma and down along the Red River this morning here. But you should be good to go for travel this morning here. So Garland County just got put under severe thunderstorm warning. We just saw that's going to go for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts strictly. That is it. Mainly a damaging wind threat this morning here across the board. Okay, so Stacy, I hope you have a great day too. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let me see here. If y'all have any more questions, let me know at this point. I think that is it for all the questions right now. Let me see here. Is it safe for me to go to sleep? I was up all night. I think you should be good to go. Oh, yeah, you should be good to go. So before, main threat for today is going to be damaging wind, hail. The isolated tornado threat is there. We weren't expecting too much throughout the overnight hours. I figured it was going to be later in the morning hours this morning and the early part of this afternoon here, okay? But I think you're good to go and get some sleep across the board. I think the bigger severe threat is going to be down here in far southern Arkansas at this current time here, okay? So severe lightning in Pike County right now. So if you have any videos or photos or anything like that, feel free to send it to us as well. We'll try to get to everybody as quick as possible, but there will be some delays this morning here as a line of storms move through here, okay? So I think that is it in terms of all the questions I'm seeing right now here, okay? So I'm going to leave you guys off with this. Damage you win, hail, the isolated tornado threat, which I think the tornado threat is pretty much a sold deal at this point. I think it's going to be a very, very low threat if it even occurs at all. I think the better shot's going to be down there in southern Arkansas if it occurs. But the flooding threat will definitely overpower the severe threat for today here, okay? So that's all I got for you guys right now. I'm going to answer one more question. I'm heading from Little Rock, heading to Little Rock, from Hot Springs Village from my son's surgery. I need to leave in 15 minutes. It's going to be a rough drive. Yes, it is. It's going to be a very rough drive. Take it easy on the roadways. It's going to be a lot of heavy rainfall, gusty winds. There may be some small hail with those storms coming along I-30 right now. So just kind of keep that in mind here if you're traveling up to the Little Rock area. Take it easy on the roadways. But in terms of tornadic activity or anything like that, there's nothing going on with that. But take it easy on the roadways, especially along Interstate 30 this morning here. And also Interstate 40 as well here. Much of western Arkansas, if you got to get out, take it easy on the roadways. Wherever you got to go, I promise you, it's still going to be there by the time you get there here, okay? So I know the wind is kind of freaking everybody out. It's been a long couple of days. This is the last severe event we're going to have, and then we're going to go straight into the heat next week. I promise you guys, we're not going to see a significant amount of severe weather for today. If that changes, we will be here. If any warnings get issued, we'll be here. We're going to have updates all morning long. Every 30 minutes, there's going to be a new update. Okay, so we'll continue to keep you guys updated. One more question, share this. Same thing goes for you. Damage and winds, hail, isolated tornado threat for much of the day. Okay, so that's all I got for you guys right now. Radar updates are going to continue for the next 30 minutes all the way through much of the area. For much of the morning, into the early afternoon. That's all I got for you guys right now. All the information is going to be posted on the page as well. So y'all continue to stay safe, be careful on the roadways, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here, your source for all things Arkansas weather.